There was a man in Ghana in the 1960s living in a world so corrupt it was rotting. Literally, the buildings smelled like decay. The public buses were covered in filth. The system was breaking down from the inside, and everyone around him was taking bribes. Everyone. Politicians, clerks, teachers, drivers. It's not even hidden. It's just how things work. Except him. He refuses. Every time, even when it would help his family, even when it would get his children into better schools, even when it means staying poor while everyone else climbs. Not because he's a saint, not because he enjoys suffering, but because something in him can't do it, can't take the money, can't play the game. And that choice destroys him. Not quickly, slowly, from the inside. This is The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born by Ayi Kwei Armah, and it's not really about corruption in Ghana. It's about what happens to your mind when staying good costs you everything. If you've ever refused to compromise and watched everyone else succeed, if you've ever felt like the only person with standards in a room full of people who've given up, this is for you. Let's start with what actually happens when you're the only one who refuses to play the game. Everyone around you is compromising, cutting corners, taking shortcuts, bending rules, and you're not. Not because you're better than them, not because you're more moral, but because something in you just can't. You try to rationalize it to yourself. Everyone else is doing it, it's not even that bad. It would help my family, it would make my life easier, but you still can't do it. And the moment you make that choice, the isolation begins. Here's what people don't tell you about having integrity in a broken system. It doesn't make you feel heroic, it makes you feel alone. Because everyone else is in on the game, they're benefiting from it, they're bonding over it, they're building relationships through shared compromise, and you're on the outside. In the novel, the man watches his friend Kumsan get rich and powerful through corruption, watches his wife grow resentful because he won't do what everyone else does, watches his children struggle because he won't take the bribes that would get them ahead. He's not celebrated, he's pitied, mocked, seen as stubborn, foolish, self-righteous. And here's the part that breaks people. He starts to wonder if they're right. Then comes the most destabilizing part. You think, I have integrity. You think, I'm doing the right thing. I should feel good about this. But you don't. You feel stupid, weak, like you're sabotaging yourself for no good reason. Psychologists call this values dissonance. When your internal values conflict with external reality, your brain enters a state of constant tension. You can't reconcile what you believe with what you're experiencing. The man believes integrity matters, hard work pays off, honesty is respected. The man experiences corruption wins, cheaters prosper, honesty gets punished. Those two things can't both be true, so his brain is constantly trying to resolve the contradiction. And the easiest resolution? Saying, maybe I'm wrong, maybe my values are naive. That's the trap. When staying good costs you everything, it doesn't just cost you externally, it makes you doubt yourself internally. You start thinking, am I being principled or just stubborn? Am I standing up for what's right, or am I just making my life harder for no good reason? And when everyone around you is succeeding by doing the thing you refuse to do, that doubt gets louder. This is what moral isolation does to you. It's not just that you're alone, it's that being alone makes you question whether you're right to be. Let's be honest about what this actually costs you. Cost number 1, relational. People don't just disagree with your choice to have standards, they resent you for it. Why? Because your integrity makes them feel bad about their compromise. Your presence is a reminder that they had a choice, and they chose differently. So they don't celebrate you, they dismiss you, mock you, tell you you're being naive, rigid, self-righteous. In the novel, the man's wife openly resents him, not because he's a bad husband, because his integrity is keeping them poor. His friend, Kumsan, pities him, sees him as someone who doesn't understand how the world works. In our world today, you call out toxic behavior at work, suddenly you're not a team player. You refuse to engage in gossip, suddenly you're stuck up. You maintain boundaries, suddenly you're difficult. Your integrity doesn't bring you closer to people, it isolates you. Cost number 2, psychological. This is the one people underestimate. When you maintain your values in a system that punishes them, it creates a specific kind of psychological damage. Researchers call it moral injury, originally a concept from war psychology, the damage that comes from being forced to violate your moral code. But there's a second type, the damage that comes from upholding your moral code in isolation while everyone else abandons theirs. You're not doing anything wrong, but watching everyone else succeed through corruption while you suffer for staying honest, that injures you. It creates chronic stress, constant values conflict, despair, wondering if integrity even matters, self-doubt, questioning your own judgment, resentment toward the system, toward others, toward yourself. The man doesn't just stay poor, he becomes psychologically broken. He walks through a world that disgusts him. He's surrounded by rot, literal and moral, and he can't escape it, because escaping it means becoming part of it. In our world today, you stay honest in a workplace where everyone else lies. You don't get promoted. You watch people with less skill and more willingness to compromise climb past you. And slowly, you stop believing that doing the right thing matters. That's the psychological cost. You are not just struggling, you are losing faith. Cost number 3, identity. This is the scariest one. When your values don't work in the real world, you start to lose your sense of who you are. You built your identity around integrity, honesty, hard work, and the world is showing you those things don't matter. So, who are you? Someone principled or someone naive? Someone standing up for what's right or someone too stubborn to adapt? The man doesn't know anymore. His identity is eroding. He's not sure if he's being heroic or just stupid, if his integrity is strength or weakness. And that uncertainty is unbearable, because if your values are what define you, and your values don't work, what's left? Now, this isn't about corruption in Ghana. It's about every system that makes survival and integrity incompatible. In the workplace, everyone's taking credit for others' work, lying in reports, kissing up to incompetent management. You refuse, you do honest work. They get promoted, you don't. And everyone tells you that's just how it works, grow up. On social media, everyone's performing a fake version of their life, chasing metrics, engaging in performative activism for clout. You refuse, you stay authentic. They get visibility, you don't. And everyone tells you if you're not willing to play the game, you'll stay invisible. In politics, both sides are dishonest, corrupt, driven by tribalism. You refuse to pick a team. You call out dishonesty on both sides. You become politically homeless, socially isolated, and everyone tells you enlightened centrist, fence-sitter, pick a side or shut up. In relationships, everyone's tolerating toxic behavior to keep the peace, pretending everything's fine, avoiding conflict. You set a boundary. You call out the dysfunction. You're labeled difficult, too sensitive, causing drama. The same structure exists everywhere. The system makes survival and integrity incompatible. You choose integrity, you pay the price, and everyone tells you you're the problem. So here's to those in this situation looking for a way forward. I could just tell you, stand up for what's right, your values matter, don't compromise. But that's not honest, because sometimes staying good doesn't save you. Sometimes it just breaks you differently. The man in the novel doesn't win. He stays poor, his wife resents him, his friend gets rich and powerful through corruption. There's no vindication, no moral victory, no moment where everyone realizes he was right all along. He just suffers, for nothing. And the title of the book, The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born, suggests that the people who could build a better world, they don't exist yet. So what do you do in the meantime? The most important question at the moment is, Can you survive having integrity when the system punishes it? And the honest answer is, not always, not easily, and not without cost. But here's the other side of that. Losing yourself to survive, that's not survival either. If you compromise your values to get ahead, you might succeed externally, but internally, you've abandoned the person you were trying to protect. So you're left with two bad options: stay good and break under the weight of isolation, doubt, and financial struggle, or compromise and break under the weight of shame, self-betrayal, and moral injury. Either way, you're paying a price. The only question is, which price can you live with? Let's come back to the man for a second. He walks through a world rotting from corruption. Everyone around him is taking bribes, climbing the ladder, getting ahead, and he refuses. Not because it feels good, it doesn't. Not because it works, it doesn't. But because something in him can't do otherwise. And that choice costs him everything. His marriage, his children's future, his sense that integrity matters. But here's what the book shows you. The people who compromise don't escape the rot. They become part of it. The man's friend Kumsan, rich, powerful, corrupt, is still living in the same decaying world. He's just insulated from it by money he stole. But the rot is still there, in him, around him. So the question isn't, should you have integrity? The question is, can you live with yourself if you don't? And only you can answer that. Because the beautiful ones, the ones who could build a system where integrity doesn't cost you everything, they're not here yet. Maybe they never will be. But in the meantime, you're still making a choice every day about who you're willing to become in order to survive. And that choice shapes everything. Comment if you've ever refused to compromise and watched everyone else succeed. Let's see how many of us are navigating this. And if you know someone who's struggling with this, someone who feels alone in their values, send this to them. Sometimes knowing you're not the only one makes the weight a little lighter. Subscribe for weekly psychology deep dives into the behavior patterns, identity struggles, and mental frameworks that shape how we show up in the world. See you in the next one.